But with those expectations that Nancy Pelosi has, that the Democrats are on the verge of a big old blue wave, what is Charlie Gasparino hearing at the Milken Conference in Los Angeles? What are you getting from these folks, bud?
Well, you know, there's a lot of politicos here. As a matter of fact, I spoke with Eric Cantor, the former GOP majority leader, who's now an investment banker. He has a little different take on the House race and how it's going to turn out. Let's hear what he had to say.
I do think there's some headwinds, and the question is going to be, are they going to be strong enough come election time that it will cause a flip in the House? I'm not so sure that happens.
So you think the House could stay?
I do, but again, there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done because, as we've seen, the anger on the left is pretty palpable.
Yeah, the Senate. What do you think?
I think the Senate, you know, given the who's in cycle and how the states play out, there's 10 Democrats that are running in very deep red Trump states, so they'll have an uphill battle.
Before I let you go, I got to ask you this because I know this is on your mind. How would you have done tax reform? You saw what happened. It was a very large corporate tax cut, a very mediocre small business tax cut, I would say. Some people got some money on the individual side. It wasn't a huge individual cut. And I looked at the GDP numbers recently, and they didn't really blow me away. First of all, are you worried about the GDP numbers? And how would have you done tax reform?
We've got to focus on growth, and this tax reform bill is a growth-oriented bill. I think any conservative, if you ask them with a blank slate, ideally, what would they like? They would like to see marginal rates on the individual come down, because in the end, that's the incentive for individuals to go the extra mile, to work the extra hour, to be able to keep more of the money that he or she earns.
Do you think they get another bite at the apple if we hold on, if the Republicans hold on to both houses?
Yeah, I do think. But that'll be important to see that happen. And as we know, we've got a very complicated process called reconciliation that Washington has to deal
not
with.
Easy.
But I do think that, you know, any conservative would say, yes, ultimately you want to see individual rates come down.
Well, Neil, two takeaways there, right? Number one, he's hedging on the House. He doesn't think it's impossible for the Republicans to hold. But as you heard, huge headwinds. And for a Republican to say that, that means he thinks there's a good chance the Republicans are going to lose the House. The other thing I think was interesting here is what he said about tax reform, that the Republicans were pretty weak on the individual stuff. And, you know, maybe that came out in the sort of, you know, average to middling GDP numbers. You know, still one quarter does not make or break the success of the tax bill. But that's where he is right now. And, you know, as an investment banker, as someone on the outside, it was pretty interesting to see how much he hedged on the Republicans keeping the House. And a lot of people here think the Republicans are going to lose the House. They also thought, a lot of people here, that Donald Trump was going to lose the election. So be that as it may.
You know, you think about it, it was Congressman Brad, an economics professor, who upended the political system when he was defeated. So we could be revisiting that, ironically, with Brad himself, who's under a great deal of pressure, you know?
Yeah, that is pretty interesting if you think about it, right? The guy that he lost to might lose again.
That's right.
If that happens, and, you know, some of the polling shows that, you know, he's got a battle on his hands. What you're seeing there is whether the economy is good or not, because we know it's better than it was. Markets are fairly strong, even though it's trading off on a lot of the trade stuff. We see we see the Trump effect hurting conservative members in these sort of purplish, you know, districts.
Right.
You know, and I think that's where the GOP is very vulnerable. That on these purplish side, when people have to, you know, flip the coin. Okay, do I do something to check President Trump and his volatile nature and stuff I really don't like about him, or do I vote the economy? And some people are obviously saying we need to check on President Trump. He acts too volatile. I mean, there's, whether you like him or not, listen, obviously we've said, you and I have said, Neil, he's done good stuff with the economy. But that volatile stuff, the personal stuff, turns off a lot of people. And, you know, I don't care how many Twitter angry emails I get. That's the truth.
Now.
And that's why the Republicans are vulnerable.
By the way, are you being mobbed by autograph hounds and that sort of thing?
You know, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people here that watch Fox Business,
sure,
that like our stuff. There are one or two Cavuto fans here. I must admit, I told them that, you know, He's not that great. He drinks pumpkin spice lattes, and they couldn't believe that, by the way.
Well, you know, that's hurtful, but it's a good thing you're there. Thanks. You're breaking news.
You don't have any feelings when it really comes down to it.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you very much. Well, stay out there, you good for nothing. All right, Charlie Gasparino out there.